Hey, what's up, Taurus? Welcome back to this timeless general tarot reading. Per usual, make sure to check the timestamps below if you would like to skip to relevant parts of the reading. Also, per usual, I make sure to enlighten you to all of the disclaimers. All typical disclaimers are assumed. All non-typical disclaimers are asserted. I'm not responsible for you misimparting the truth in this message. If it is not meant for you, you need to take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. Alrighty, Taurus, so it's kind of been interesting here. Last few readings, a lot of the energy has been coming out in ways that I can sympathize with on a personal level. So it's very interesting how it's stuff that I can sympathize with. So I'm curious to see if that continues in your reading. So without further ado, make sure to skip to the next timestamp for when the first card drops. In the meantime, I am going to shuffle until we get something clear to drop for you. And what we've got is the Eight of Pentacles reversed, which is interesting because the last reading was Aries, and they started with the Eight of Pentacles in the upright. It's a sign of shoddy craftsmanship. It's a sign of completing work, the quality of work not necessarily being up to par. It can be a sign of cutting corners to get people to buy something that's not really worth the value they're paying for it, but on the surface it looks like it, so they will pay full price for it, but the craftsmanship was unreliable under the surface. So it's a smidge of a sign of underhanded dealings in that regard, especially if like the Seven of Swords comes out or something like that. That is definitely a sign of, you know, cheating people, like the worst forms of capitalism. It is Earth energy though, so it's Taurus energy. And sometimes this happens with my Taurus readings. It's like there's like one little thing that the Taurus has stuck in their craw, and then there's like a clarifier or two of like how they can kind of get over it, and then like that's it, the reading's over. It's very straightforward, poignant, and to the point. So I'm curious if this time it will be the same thing. Dang, that's a lot of negative energy. That one's very disappointing. That trio of cards. Whoa. I just had two cards insist they come out here. Alright, so this is kind of interesting. Like I just suggested, Taurus reads have this capacity to like have one little thing they're hung up on, and then like with a really solid clarification, it's like the read's done and they know it's up, kind of thing. So in this instance, there's this idea that somebody is like taking to shoddy craftsmanship, lazy, like they're putting in like a lazy amount of effort even though they're completing the work, and even though they're delivering this effort, it's like it's not as good as it could be. But what's being suggested here is that some individual has the capacity to come in here and kind of straighten out this individual, straighten out this craftsmanship. So it's not a sign necessarily that whomever this shoddy craftsmanship belongs to is going to have to kind of learn that lesson for themselves. There's a solid sign here that they have an ally that is willing to help them out, somebody who cares about them, who can maybe just kind of give it to them straight about, you know, what's going on with that situation. And it looks like, according to this, that you're going to listen, or whomever this is going to listen, because Nine of Wands is a sign of attained power. So it's a level up, so to speak. So it's like, it's just a very clear sign that like this individual, whoever this craftsman of subpar quality is, some kind of mentor, some kind of, you know, a role model, a peer, something like that, some kind of individual who can collaborate with them and help them out, is actually going to help them attain a much greater quality of effort. And that's a good sign. And it's a pretty good turnaround here. So, like I said, Taurus reads can be quite straightforward sometimes. Dang. So this is a mixed energy here. And I tried to come out twice now. So I'm a little confused here because we've got, after everything I just said, the other thing that was coming out weird is the Emperor was coming out. The Emperor came out in reverse here. So very, very strange energies. I just did an Aries reading also, and they had the Emperor come out in the upright. So it's very interesting that you've got and the Nine of Wands came out in that reading. So it's very interesting that those cards are coming out again like that. This is very interesting. Like, I don't know who's helping this individual increase their craftsmanship, but it's like upon attaining that Nine of Wands power, it's like they're going to rub people the wrong way or something. It's like they are... So you also have 2 cups to 3 of cups here. 2 of cups is the Lord of Love. 3 of cups, I sometimes forget this one. It's the Lord of Success. But you got it mixed. It came out basically sideways. So you've got this... this is very strange because you go from this, like, learning from this, whoever this peer or mentor is, like, you've learned from them to do better. But then, like, it's almost like once you have gained that strength, you don't actually know how to necessarily channel it into all of the success you would like. And for some reason, there's this Emperor who's like this authority figure who is, maybe they're jealous of your craftsmanship, your new talents, or something like that. Like, they are showing up here in the reverse, which is very toxic. So it's a very clear sign that somebody is like very toxic about the idea that you are achieving more, and that can interfere with your ability to have success, I suppose. But like, it's just not very clear. This is kind of strange. It was much clearer, like the first 3 cards were much clearer, but it's just disappointing. I don't know what kind of company you're keeping, or I don't know what, like, where you work or what your job is, or I don't know what your craftsmanship entails, but so the first thing that came to mind there was that so to be completely honest, off the top of my head, the first thing that really came to mind there was that you should probably ditch whomever this leader is that's going to be toxic about you succeeding. Pretty straightforward. They don't have their own capacity to ground themselves properly. And you have the capacity to, you have this newfound capacity to make the difference. And that's sort of what this is suggesting with the 2 of, dang, but then we get this Magician in reverse. Yeah, this is very weird. Like, you've got someone hella jealous about your newfound power. They are not happy that you are capable of achieving like this, and they're falling into toxic energy. So even though you have this power, you might like start finding these weird synchronicities where you're like, even though you're doing the right things, like, you're not quite succeeding like you suspect you should. And this is half pointing to the idea that this Emperor is sabotaging you, because now we have the Magician in reverse clarifying the Emperor in reverse, and the Magician in reverse is a sign of not just failed manifestation, but successful manifestation down a dark path. And it doesn't have to be like all the way to like devil worship darkness, but like the idea is that this is a dark magician. They are manifesting bad things. Like, they're just, it's a good sign that like you're getting sabotaged by whomever this jealous leader is. and it makes sense they don't know how to ground their own capacities. So like they're just an insecure individual, an insecure authority figure, and they are not taking your strength too well, and they're not taking your growth too well. Is really a piece of this puzzle here. But you got this call from the Two of Wands to like. This call from the Two of Wands is for you to. It's known as the Lord of Dominion. And it doesn't necessarily mean conquering things, but it does to a certain extent mean that you've established your success. And you are now on the path of applying even more successful action. And it's a sign to like not get held down by this negativity. So we've got this other card that wants to come out for clarification, and it is the Strength card. And that's pretty straightforward. It's one of the most straightforward cards. It's about embracing internal strength. We've had this interesting correlation here with the two infinity signs. So, despite whatever kind of sabotage, I dare say, it's very, 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 very tricky to start to suggest such things as a tarot reader. But that's definitely the energy I'm picking up on here, is that this Emperor is toxic. Then I guess another card flip out for you, and it's the World card reversed though. Very strange. Taurus is on this card though. Followed by Leo also. It's kind of interesting. Clarifying the Nine of Wands though. I'm not entirely sure anymore about those two. The call for internal strength makes sense. That's what you're going to need to like get over this sabotaging behavior by this authority figure. And it's what you will need to balance out this success properly. You know, if you don't want to be hitting both. But now we've got this World card in reverse, which is, it's like a sign of resisting the completion of a cycle. So maybe you like have some kind of, maybe you can't stand this boss, but you really love the place. Like you really love the organization, you really love the job, maybe you like really love the owner or something like that. Like I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, you don't want to actually give up on this entire thing, whatever it is. And it looks like the universe is calling you to, but you're resisting that with the World reversed here is what that's suggesting. Suggesting that you're kind of resisting that effect. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see here. If I could, please, can I get some clarity for the Two of Cups? I don't know what else could clarify enough of that. It's just that it would clarify the idea that this. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like a page comes out, or maybe like a knight or something. Someone. It would be interesting if it clarifies with a court card somebody for this Two of Cups pairing, which is also Leo, a Leo card. So we're looking at Leo, the Strength card Leo, the World card has some Leo. A lot of Leo for a Taurus. We also have Aries, and we've got Nine of Wands, Two of Wands, so fire. A lot of fire. Leo and fire. A lot of that going on here. So give me a second here as I ramble on. I'm trying to get a clarifier for this Two of Cups. Alright, Great Goddess, could you please give me a clarifier for this Two of Cups? The Death card tried to flip out there. And we have the Nine of Cups. It's known as the Lord of Achieved Happiness. Not dreaming about happiness, having happiness. It's kind of a sign that this person is going to make you happy. It's going to make you happy that they help you. And maybe that's part of why you don't want to leave this situation. Because you really appreciate this individual who's still there. So that can make some sense if you're happy. So maybe you it's interesting because the universe is kind of, and here's one more card here to clarify this lack of work ethic on the Eight of Pentacles. It's the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. That's kind of funny. So that's just a clarifier that it's another sign of, it's interesting. That's another sign of like putting in the effort but not getting anything for it. So that's a little interesting because they match it's very interesting how they're matching each other. So it's like it's just a very solid clarifier that it's kind of a double clarifier. It's clarifying the it's further clarifying the Eight of Pentacles reversed in the fact that regardless of like the work that's getting done, it's the quality of the work. It doesn't matter how much work is done if it can't be like sold for pentacles, so to speak, or if nobody likes it, stuff like that. Like it just continues to kind of push at the idea of like lazy craftsmanship, lazy decisions in craft. It also, to a certain extent, is suggesting that you might feel happy staying in this situation, but you're like, you might end up reverting back to this state of being once this toxicity starts to sink into you. And with the World card trying to suggest that you complete a cycle, but you are deciding not to, apparently you're deciding to not do that. It's just a very interesting combination of cards here, because it's like, this is almost suggesting that you are going to like bottle up the toxicity for the sake of the happiness from this newfound camaraderie, whomever this is. Even if your work goes unrewarded, even if your effort goes unappreciated, it's almost like it's not going to take you down. That's not even what's going to matter to you. You're going to be happy enough interacting with this individual. It's just very strange because it's also saying here with the World card reversed that the universe doesn't exactly want you being stuck content like that. It really wants you to complete some kind of cycle. It wants you to move on from this to some degree. So that's a little interesting. I'm going to see if I can get one more final clarifier card to drop here, since once again it's like this Taurus. This is kind of a longer Taurus reading. Queen of Pentacles reverse, Eight of Wands. I'm gonna look for one more clarifier for this. I mean, it's it is interesting as for a Taurus read, because like all this negative work ethic is like, it doesn't seem like your style. So maybe you're like a very fiery Taurus or something like that, like a Taurus sun, but you've got more fire in your chart or something like that, and you're not really resonating with the material abundance. There's solid career capacity here. You got all the wand energy in the upright. You got the strength card coming out for you, and the nine of cups. So 9 of wands and 9 of cups in your energy regarding this individual. So this individual really empowers you, but like they don't empower your material quality. It's like they empower your like emotional happiness and your actionable capacity and your power, but you like for whatever reason, and possibly because of this toxic emperor, like you're not willing to translate that energy into successful material creation. And the universe is suggesting that you're going to stall on that, even though it's also calling you to find inner strength. to find more success here. If you get to the point where you feel like it's because the Emperor is underhanding you, you might not exactly try your hardest. Maybe that's all it's suggesting here. But that's sort of what it's suggesting. It's very interesting. It's not just like a very straightforward reading. It's like a very intricate how... It is very intricate here how you're going to like... kind of act like this. It's kind of funny. Kind of funny. Very stubborn behavior to a certain extent, so... That's cute to see. Because this toxic Emperor like this, I don't even mind. I don't even mind. You be stubborn. You stubborn all over this turd Emperor. As far as I freaking care. Darkly manifesting, insecure, ungrounded, petty, authority figure. Shit. He's getting what he deserves from you if this is what you're going to be yielding him. The universe doesn't exactly want you stuck there, but whomever this individual is has got your energies aligned. You're just not giving it to this Emperor or whatever. So that's kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny, to be honest with you. Alright, so this reading's at like 21 minutes, and I think I want to see if I can get one more final clarifier, but yeah, I mean, this is just like, it's kind of interesting how sometimes Taurus energy is like this. This is actually sort of similar to how Virgo energy can be. It's more like, buckle up and watch the ride, tarot reader. It's not like a lot of the other reads will have like solutions in here, but there's not really a solution in here. It's just like you're just kind of content with how this is happening. Despite your own personal capabilities are all, besides for this kind of, I hate to use the word lazy, but that's kind of very close to what this is suggesting, is like a lazy, it's just like a lazy attempt at fine quality. And somebody inspires you to do better, but then like, and you do better, and you have the capacity to do better, but this Emperor is like being a lame-o. So you have this mixed message here to like kind of do your own thing, but it's just not, it doesn't look like it's what you're really feeling. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get anything else out here. But this has definitely been an interesting reading so far. I don't know if maybe your chart has some Leo in it. Strength of the world. Some wand energy. Two of Cups kind of thing. Taurus even coming out in the world here. Pentacles. So. Alright, Taurus, I'm going to give this a couple more tries and I'm going to call it. And I'm going to let you make this decision for yourself. You've got two options here. And I think you understand the quality of both options. And you have the capacities to choose either one. It's not really any real warning here. So this was like trying to slip out a little bit. Page of Wands. That can represent an individual who's very keen on taking action. And they're kind of ambitious. To a certain extent, they can be aggressive. But that's just because of their vibrance of action through their fire energy. So maybe that's who is this individual, because this Leo energy is getting matched with this fire energy. So it could be speaking to that individual if they're if they're like very high energy, so to speak, not necessarily spastic, but they really take to action, not just speaking. They've got to be acting out their energy. Sometimes it's assertive, sometimes it's aggressive, sometimes they will speak their mind without filtering necessarily, so they may come off, or like they're very willing to express when they're happy, but they're also very willing to express when they're angry. And that can be a very endearing quality. And we also have the Empress coming out here. So maybe the Empress is like, maybe this is like, that'd be very funny if this Empress was this Emperor's Empress. That would just be like icing on top of the cake for this toxic person. Like if it's like their business partner is whom showed you, or is whom embraced you to reach these capacities. And maybe that could have been what set off this Emperor. like jealousy, straight up jealousy, not just of your power, but of how you connected with this Empress. So watch out for that. That's interesting for sure, because that'll set off some toxicity. No joke. That could also be part of why you're being asked to move on from the situation, though, because maybe with you gone, this toxicity dissipates and you do better. So maybe by moving on, you both do better. I'm not entirely sure. That's something that you're going to have to filter out for yourself. And wow, look at that. The Page of Wands tried to come out again. No joke. It's no joke, this stuff. So I'm going to leave that as a clarifier. It's just like, this is very likely this individual. And it can symbolize a youth, a younger person. So it might be like somebody, just a young person who's inspiring you differently. Lighting a fire under you. The main thing here is that they are very action-oriented. So maybe what you're missing is just, you know, a certain fire under your feet. And this person can help you do that. And maybe it's not just, it might not even be in the fact of helping you to craft better, but just to embrace a better crafting to some extent. So I'm going to leave that out for you here, because that tried to come out twice for you. And whoever this individual is, they seem like they are somebody that you're going to value in your experience, because they have the capacity to bring you both into Nine of Wands and Nine of Cups, which is pretty cool. And the pair of you is going to hella piss this Emperor off, apparently. So watch out for that. And I think that's where I'm going to leave this. I don't have anything else to clarify. I got the Page of Wands just got confirmed. Maybe the Empress has a little bit to play in this situation, but the Page of Wands has come out very clear. More fire energy again, so maybe they are a Leo. Or not just a Leo, but a fire sign. Maybe there's some kind of fire sign for you. Strength, Page of Wands, Two of Cups, very fiery. And then your success in the Nine of Wands, Two of Wands adds fire as well. So, yeah, that's all I've got for you. You've got two choices here, and you're going to be basically fine doing whichever one, but there's potential for you to make it better for everybody involved, depending on your decision. And that's something that I'm going to leave to you, because I don't want to tell you to quit your job and then have that not work out, so I'm not going to do it. So, all right, Taurus. Well, thank you. This too is actually very, very humorous energy, and I felt like I got to kind of express myself shit-talking this Emperor a little bit, so that was kind of funny. And I was dogging on your work ethic, so that was cute, because it doesn't look like it's going to really phase you that much anyway. So, all right, Taurus. Thank you for being here, and good luck with this.